On this lesson, we're going to keep working on our title and create an illustration to go along with our title. So I'm going to move my title around here, and I want to create an illustration that goes along with my title. So in the case of this infographic, I think that something that could work well would be to make either a guy or a girl smiling. So I'm going to make a guy, and I'm going to do it by creating basic shapes. Most of my illustrations are the ones that I do for infographics. One of the things that I like to do most of the times is probably create a sketch, but sometimes if you already have an idea on your head, you can build it right away here in Illustrator. And the basic shapes, or the shapes that Illustrator offers you, are a great way to start your illustration, especially if you don't have or you don't feel comfortable with your drawing skills or your abilities to create a character. You could start using basic shapes to achieve a nice result. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to access the shape tools, and one thing that I like to do is click here on this little triangle to make this window float and put it near my canvas so I can access all the tools with one click and one glance, instead of probably typing the shortcuts or using the ones that doesn't have a shortcut assigned to them. So I'm going to create a rectangle that is around this big, and then I'm going to round the corners, but just the one, all of them. So if you move this little circle handle, you can move it all the way to the center and make it around there. I think this is a good size. I'm going to change the color to this salmon color because that's the color that I want my guide to have, and maybe I can make this a little bit bigger and round the corners again. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is use another circle, or create a circle. I'm pressing Shift to create an ear, and then I'm going to make another circle. This time it's going to be smaller, and what I want to have on the circle is actually to have a stroke, not a fill, and I'm going to make it probably bigger, around 7. And another set of tools that I use a lot when I'm creating an illustration is the align tools, or are the alignment tools. So I'm going to go here to Window, Align, or press Shift F7 on my keyboard, and this window should appear. I'm not going to use the character for now, so I can close it and leave it there. And now I can see my align tools. So I'm going to select this circle that I created and this other circle, and just go here to the horizontal align center, and then vertical align center, and you're going to be like, okay, where did they go? Well, because here on the top I had align to artboard, the shapes align to the center of my artboard instead of so they are going right there to the center. I don't want them there, I want them around here, and this is going to be the place where I probably want to put my ear. And for the ear, I don't need the whole circle, I just want half. So I'm gonna go with my direct selection tool, or press A on my keyboard, and select this anchor point that is there, and just press delete on my keyboard, so I only have half the circle. Now I want to select that circle and maybe change the profile. And if you don't know how to change the profile, you go here to the profile and go here to the width profile, and you can play around with this. Some of them have a very nice effects, and you can find one that you like. I'm gonna go with that one for now, and this is going to be the way my ear is going to just be there. I'm gonna make it, I think there would work fine. And another set of tools that I use a lot when I'm creating illustration are the Pathfinder tools. So I'm going to go Window, Pathfinder, or you can press Shift Ctrl F9, and this tool should appear, and they are very, very handy. So you can select both shapes, in this case of these two shapes, and go here to Unite. And if you do that, now they are one single shape. And this is very useful because you want to keep your illustration as simple and as organized as you can. Now, I don't want this guy to have like a rounded head. So what I can do is go to my pen tool or press P on my keyboard, and I'm going to give it this stroke just so you see it. And I'm going to make a click here, and then another click around here, and I'm going to drag so you make a curve instead of a straight line. And this is going to be my line. And now what I would like to use this line for is to make a cut into my shape. So I'm going to select both of them and then go here to the Pathfinder and press on divide. And now I have two shapes, but if I move them around, you're going to see that they are still moving together, and that is because they are grouped. So I'm going to go right click, ungroup, and now I can move each piece. And I'm going to delete that because that's the part that I don't need. And now I cannot see anymore my line that was here on my ear, and that is because this face is right now on the top. So if I go right click, arrange, send to back, or Ctrl Shift open bracket, you're gonna see that now when I send it to back, I can see again this line that I did on the ear. Now the next thing I want to create is a hair. So I'm gonna go to my pen tool or press P on my keyboard, select this dark blue color and make a point here, then make another point around here and drag so you make a curve again, another point here, another point here, another point here, and then I close my shape. And then I'm going to send it to back again by right click, arrange, send to back, and now I have the hair. Now the next thing I want to do is create some eyes. So I'm going to use ellipses to do the eyes. Make an ellipse that has a size around that, and then make another one by pressing Alt while I drag it, and I'm going to press also Shift while I drag it so they move on only one direction. And I'm going to move it around here, and then I want to give it some eyebrows. So I'm going to go to my pen tool or press P on my keyboard and make a line. In this case it's going to be a straight line around there, and this is going to be a line, so I swap this to make only a stroke, move it down around, I think probably 18 would work, and I'm going to make the caps rounded. So now they are like that, and I want to make a copy of this same eyebrow to put it on top of my other eye, but I want it to be on the opposite direction. So I'm going to select my eyebrow, go right click, transform, reflect, then make sure that I'm reflecting on my vertical axis, and you can click here to see a little preview, and I'm going to hit copy. Now I'm going to press Shift and move it around here, and now I have my eyebrows. Now again with my pen tool I'm going to create a nose, and the way I create my nose is create a point here, then make a straight line and make another point here, and then make another point here and a little curve, and another point here and a little curve. And in the case of this line, I want it to have the same color and stroke and properties of this other one. So I want to use the eyedropper or press I on my keyboard and select that. And you can see that now I have the same color and the same weight, but not the same profile. So I'm going to apply it here and use the same one that I did before. And now I think I'm going to move the eyes and the eyebrows a little bit to the right, so the character is kind of looking at you, and probably this eye and this here a little bit there. And then I'm going to go to my pen tool or press P on my keyboard and make a point here, another point here, so it's a curve, and then make another point here, another point here, and fill this shape with this white. Now our character is smiling, just as our title. And remember that if you want to change something, you can use the direct selection tool and move your anchor points around and move the handles, so you can get the shapes exactly as you want, as you think they should look. Now I think to make this smile look better, I'm going to go to my pen tool and make a point here, another one here, and then make it a stroke that probably that color would work fine. And let's make it a little bit bigger and use another profile, maybe this one. So now you can see the teeth. Now I'm going to create a rectangle for the neck, and let's give this rectangle this same color, or probably we can go with a darker one. And I'm gonna send it to back, and so now I have my neck there. And this guy, I think it should be wearing a suit, because this is how important the smile is, not only on your personal life but probably also on your professional life. So I'm going to create another rectangle. I don't know, this one around this size I think would work fine, or probably a little bit wider, and then fill this with that blue color. And then for this rectangle I only want to round the top corners, so I'm going to go to my direct selection tool or press A on my keyboard and round just the top corners, and you can move them around or input a value here on the top. I think that is okay. I'm going to send it back again, arrange, send it back, and I think that's probably okay. And now I want to create the color of a t-shirt, so I'm going to make a rectangle tool probably around this size, and I'm going to fill it with this white color, maybe a little bit, and move it, probably rotate it. And what I did is just rotate it with my rotation tool, or say rotate tool, or press R on my keyboard, or you can go to one of the corners and rotate it, and just rotate it around there probably, and then make a copy again, just as we did before with the eyebrow. Transform, reflect, and copy, and move this one around there. I think that'll probably work fine. And I'm going to group this and align it with my neck. And one thing that I do a lot is I select both shapes and then click again on the shape that I don't want to move, and that way I can make this the key object. And the indication that you have done this successfully is because the outline, you can see that it is kind of stronger on the object that is the key. And in here to align to, you can see that it has changed to a key. So I'm going to align this to the to the vertical line center, and do the same with the other rectangle, so that now they are sharing the same center. Now I want to move this to the top a little bit around there. Now I want to create a triangle. So I'm going to create a triangle. One thing that I do a lot is using the polygon tool. And if I click, you're gonna see that here I can set a radius and select the number of sides. So select 3 sides to make a triangle, and really the radius doesn't really matter because you're going to change this. And I'm going to rotate this and move it around here again on the center. You can align it and move it just this point with the direct selection tool. And then make this one probably wider around there, and the other one around there. I think probably even a little bit more, so it is aligned there, probably around there. And again I can align them and give this another darker color. Send both of these to the back, and now I have my triangle here to kind of make a shirt. Now I'm going to create a tie, so I'm going to go here to my rectangle and make a square, and this one is going to be red. and I want to rotate it. And if you rotate a shape just like this, you can rotate any value, but if you press shift, you're only going to rotate this shape around in this angle. So I'm going to do it 45 and put it around here. Again, send all of this to the back, and then make another triangle like this. I'm gonna align it and make this one probably a little bit lighter, and I want to send all of this to the back. And now finally I want to mask this this rectangle on triangle. So to do that, one thing that I do a lot is I select my shape, then I press Ctrl X or go here to Edit, Cut with Ctrl X, and then I select the shape that I'm going to mask in, and I'm going to go here on the bottom. And if you see, all the time that we've been working on this project, we have been drawing normal. But if you go here to the one that is on the right, you can see that it's drawing side. And if you click there, and you can see that now my shape has this dotted outline around, and that is indicating that I can only draw inside this shape. So if I press Ctrl Shift B or go here to Edit, Paste in Place, I can paste in place that rectangle that I just cut it and paste it right on the same space. But now, as you can see here, it is being masked by this triangle. And to go away from the draw inside mode, you can go back here to draw normal or double click outside your shape. And now you have this. And now the next thing I want to do is, let's move this one a little bit to the top a little bit more. And the next thing I want to do is, I'm actually going to make the neck a little bit wider and make sure that everything is aligned. So you can make these little twitches, these little touches or finished touches so you make your illustration look better. This is something that if you keep doing this over the time, you're going to be getting better at seeing which works best and which doesn't work. So finally I want to create some lines here so you can see that it's their chest and the arms. So I'm going to go to my pen tool or press P on my keyboard and make a line that is around there. This is going to be a line, so again I don't need the fill. I'm going to make this probably 12 is okay, and make sure that the caps are rounded. Make another one again by pressing Shift and Alt to make a copy. And then I'm going to group them and make sure that they are aligned. Again, as before, select both shapes, then make one the key and go here to horizontal align center. And just as we did with this rectangle, I don't want these top parts to be going outside this other rectangle, so I'm going to select them, go into Ctrl X to cut them, go into the draw inside mode on this shape and paste them in place with Ctrl Shift B. So now we have our illustration of our character, and I think that probably it is having a too big head, so I probably can select all the head and make it a little bit smaller, and I press Alt and Shift so that the scale is happening on the center there. I think that's okay, and probably we can do a little bit more and then move it again there. And I think this is looking better. And just to give it some sense of depth, I'm gonna make some shades. So the way that I like to add some shadows to my illustrations is to go to my pen tool or press P on my keyboard and go here and make a shadow that is on the face and draw this shape around. And then one thing that I like to do is select a color, probably this okay, and then go here to my transparency And if you don't have this window open for whatever reason, you can go here, Window, Transparency, or Control Shift F10, and then go here and change the mode. And in this case, I want to change it to Overall. And now you can see that this is giving a nice shadow. And just as before, if you want to modify your shapes, you can do it with the Direct Selection tool until you find something that you think would work nice for you. So I'm going to select this shape, again cut it, select this one to make it active, and then go into the Draw Inside mode and Ctrl Shift B to paste it in place. And then here on the neck and the face, I'm going to create another shadow. And if you don't want to input, again here the overlay, you can go to your eyedropper or press I on your keyboard and do something like that. And again Ctrl X, Draw Inside, and have it there. And if you want to change this for whatever reason, you can double click, and now you are going to be able to edit the shape that is inside. And to go outside this, you can go here on the arrow, or right, double click away from there. Now I have my character, and I'm gonna actually probably change the color of the pupils. Sorry, with to probably this black. I think that's okay, and maybe making these strokes bigger. And I'm gonna group this by pressing Ctrl G. So now if I move something, everything moves. Probably scale this a little bit up so that it is a little bit bigger, and maybe scaling this a little bit down. And with this, now we have our title and an illustration that goes along with it. So on the next lesson, we're gonna finish the title or the header with some elements on the background and probably a little bit of text here that introduces you to what this infographic is going to be about. See you on the next lesson.